Many times you have heard us talk about
Surfside
Surfside sips.
sips.
So I thought I'd give you a view of our collection, except the two new ones we're going to show off tonight. So we've got the thicker ones. We've got just the basic in blue. We've got a thicker short one, short drinks with crushed ice. And we've got I think our favorite, the thicker bamboo tall, which is great for crushed ice drinks. We have the lightsaber, which is using in our Star Wars mugs. We've got a bone straw, which for sunken skulls and the like. And then we've got two different of the Pride straws. A little Pride flag. We've got a white one and a clear lavender one. So those are the ones we have so
Hi.
far.
Welcome to Quarantiki number 19? 18?
Yeah.
19. 19. Isn't that a Billy Joel song? Something about 19? Something like that. Hi there. Yes, running a little behind, as is usual, or as some people might say, including my mother, running on Pacucci time.
So we have a Gwen Albiani, a Colleen,
Gwen, hi. Colleen, hello.
Dave Hyson.
David, sorry, not Dave, David.
Brooke
Brooke,
says something's on fire.
right, of course she does, because there is always something on fire. But fortunately, it's nothing major that we have to worry about, unless I set the bar on fire, and then, that would be bad.
But there's a fire extinguisher right on the other side.
There is a fire extinguisher right on the other side, and that's awesome and good. And you can almost see right up here, this thing right there. Yep, that's a paper parrot that's hanging.
Yeah, I can tilt for a little bit.
She can tilt. Here's our little paper parrot. Yep, that's courtesy of Mom and Larry. So thank you very much for that. We've got a couple of them hanging around here. Let's turn that just slightly so we don't have that. There we go. Yes, that. Look at the glowing hand. So much power. No, sorry. Ultra Instinct form. No. Okay, so that's Dragon Ball Z. We don't go there. All right. So what are we going to do tonight? Well,
have a toast.
So let's back up a little bit. 2 weeks ago, we weren't drinking. Well, we were drinking. We weren't drinking alcohol because various meds and that sort of thing, and because we're old. And that's done. Yay! Woohoo! I'm feeling better. Star's feeling better. Life is good. And last weekend was National Rum Day, so we just did a sampling of different rums and the like, and that was pretty cool. But there weren't any cocktails, so we haven't had any tiki cocktails in 2 weeks, which means we're way behind on making our way through Matt Petrick's minimalist tiki. We are, let's see, there's 30 classic cocktails in Matt's book. I'm sorry, Mr. Petrick's book. I don't know him personally, although I hope to remedy that someday. Dun dun dun. A big shout out to the Petricks because they are now entering their third publishing.
Third printing.
Third printing. Sorry, that's the word I'm looking for. Third printing of that book. They've made some changes, corrected a few typos, and they're adding some new drink recipes to the third edition. So yay for Matt and his wife. Minimalist Tiki has done really well and is one of those things that I think you should have if you're going to get into Tiki at all, because it's very cool, and it takes you through an intro course in what is Tiki and how to do the Tiki thing. All right. So we're going to do a little toast, first of all. And we're going to use the Kirk and Sweeney 23. I am not going to refer to this as 23-year-old because
it's Tiki. Rum on Island time.
There might be some 23-year-old something in here, or a 23-year-old might have fallen into the distilling vat or something like that. Or it was 23 years ago that somebody started Kirk and Sweeney.
Batch and bottle number.
Right. 40% alcohol by volume. This is a Dominican rum, but it's also, as I recall, a mix of rums from around the Caribbean, if I'm right. I thought that's what I thought that was what was. So anyway, so Dominican rum, Kirk and Sweeney, 23. We need a toast.
To both being much better and on the mend, and
Sure, and all so to being
and
on the
Christine feeling a little better.
yeah, to various people feeling healthier, feeling better, and I will step into the political arena just a tad
Okay.
for a toast. To the political process, because right now we are in between the Democratic National Convention and the Republican National Convention. May the political processes in the United States
Work.
Regardless of your
Of how
political
they're supposed
persuasion.
to, and
We got a couple of conventions.
make sure you vote.
Yeah, make sure you vote. Cheers.
Little hot for
yeah,
sipping rum.
Yeah,
But
it feels a little hot, and it's 40%. So that seems a little odd to me. If it was truly age 23 years, I would expect that some of that heat would go away. But there is definite wood notes to this, so it has obviously seen some wood at some point. Ha ha ha! No jokes about seeing some wood. Anywho, so what are we going to do this evening? We're actually going to make cocktails this evening. Because it's been a couple of weeks,
new things.
I got a little low on stocks, and as a consequence, spent a good portion of this weekend trying to build my stocks back up. And I thought, wait, this is a good occasion to do something that we haven't done before, which is how much does fresh ingredients versus not so fresh or store-bought ingredients actually matter? So what we're going to do is we're going to do three different cocktails this evening, and each one of those is going to have an ingredient, three in it, that I have both a store-bought and a homemade version, or a fresh and a not so fresh version of an ingredient. And we're going to do a side-by-side tasting to see if it makes any difference. Now, one of these, I'm going to have to change the ingredients list just a tad, because it calls, we're actually going to do something with grenadine. And the only grenadine drink on Minimalist Tiki that we haven't done yet actually has count them, 6 drops of grenadine in it. And given that it's got like 3 different rums and all that sort of thing, there's no way you're going to notice the difference with 6 drops of grenadine. Well, coloration, mouthfeel, maybe. But, so we're going to amp up the grenadine in that cocktail, which is the Rum Barrel cocktail. But otherwise, we'll be good.
Elisa made it.
Excellent,
Right
excellent.
time zone.
Yay, right time zone. Let's hear it for the right time zone. I'll drink to that. So I would like to also debut a new feature on Quarantiki, on Lovecraft Cocktails Quarantiki, and that is what have I learned this week? So I'd like to think of my journeying into the world of tiki, mixology, cocktail making, Lovecraftian mythos, that whole bit, as a never-ending journey of learning. And so this week, I learned something that I thought was kind of astounding. And it didn't, something that should have been obvious, but I never realized it. So here I am watching a YouTube video from How to Drink. I think it's How to Drink is the name of the, out of Canada. Which is it's a bartending mixology, amateur mixology podcast. This YouTube channel. It's got a Twitch channel and some other things. Anyway, yeah, very amusing. Does some good stuff. Way nice setup. But anyway, he was talking about setting up a new home bar and was talking about syrups and that sort of thing, and pointed out that The ratio, so a lot of cocktail recipes call for a 1-to-1, or you presume they call for a 1-to-1 recipe of sugar to water when making a syrup. But in fact, a 1-to-1 recipe for sugar and water isn't shelf stable. But because of the much higher sugar content, a 2-to-1 sugar to water recipe is in fact shelf stable. Uh-huh. Microbes and bacteria doesn't like to grow in that much sugar. Well, that's cool. And looking back over the cocktail books, as he's wont to do, he noticed that anytime there is a specification for a syrup recipe from cocktails back to the 1800s, prior to Prohibition, etc., that all of them that did specified a 2-to-1 or higher mixture of sugar to water. Why? I don't have the mic on. Holy crud. Well, fortunately the mic was nearby, so hopefully it's okay. There we go. Now you can hear me. Yay! All right. As I was saying, all of the syrup recipes, or a lot of the syrup recipes prior to Prohibition, i.e. prior to the advent of widespread ice usage, are all 2-to-1 or more because they're shelf stable and they don't require refrigeration. So all the classic recipes are using 2-to-1 or higher syrup ratios. So yay! All right, good for us. We've always been using 2-to-1 ratios anyway. It explains why my syrups seem to last so freaking long. So yeah, awesome.
Because you do refrigerate.
So I do refrigerate them as well. I got the shelf space back there, so I do it. So, so there you go. Make your syrups 2-to-1. They're shelf stable. They don't take up room in your refrigerator. But if you do refrigerate them, they'll last freaking forever. So awesomeness. So there you go. There's your trivia. There's the little bit of knowledge that I learned this week. Go for 2-to-1 or better, and you've got shelf-stable syrups. Awesome.
Christine's watching from the hospital.
Yay, Christine! Yay! Boo, you're still in the hospital, but yay, you're on the mend. Yes, we've been tracking your progress, and we're quite happy to see you doing much better, in much less pain. Yes, so that's good. All right. What else? What else is new and happening in our tiki world? Wait a second. No. Let's not do what's happening in my tiki world at the moment. Let's put something together to drink, and then we'll talk about other things that are new in the tiki world. I did bring the box down. Yes. So let's see. When I go off like this to everyone that is actually looking at me on the camera, I'm talking to my wife. So yeah, off camera. There you go. See, there you go. All right. If I do this, I have no idea what that means because there's nothing over there. There's a wall over there. It means I will power. Yeah, man, that looks awesome. Kamehameha. Yeah, okay, all right. So, yeah, that Dragon Ball Z stuff. Yeah, okay. So let's make a drink. So the first drink that we're going to do, again, these drinks are all from the Minimalist Tiki. We have done 16 of them so far. There's another 14 to do, and we're going to knock out 3 of them tonight, assuming nothing weird happens like dropping the channel and all that sort of thing, which happened last time. So, all right, the Coconut Grove. So the Coconut Grove is a blended drink, and we are going to grab a couple of blender tins, because I'm going to make 2 versions of this. In both cases, they have a 1/2 ounce of coconut cream, and my coconut cream is over here, right? So we're going to go here, 1/2 ounce coconut cream. Yep, and 1/2 ounce coconut cream. There we go. Whoop. And you'll note I'm following the technique that I try to do, which is put the thick, syrupy liquids through my jiggers first so that they can get cleaned up. Star's laughing at me for some reason.
Dave said when you're looking over that way, you're looking for a rum.
I'm looking for a rum. Always looking for new rums, which I've got a couple of rums coming. Yeah. All right. Okay, so there's cream coconut, 1/2 ounce each one of these guys. Next up, we want to clean these out, so we want lime juice. here's where we're going to get into our fresh versus concentrate. Here's what passes for lime juice in many American households. Yeah. I know it was in my household when I was growing up. So we're going to go a full ounce of this. Someone is going to have to remind me that the one on the right uses the from concentrate refrigerated plastic lime juice. All right, so there's a full ounce of that. And it goes zoop, zoopa. And then we need actual lime juice. So this was squeezed earlier this afternoon. So, been sitting for a couple hours. Which, oddly enough, fresh lime juice seems to be at its best about 2-3 hours after it's squeezed. And then it starts to go downhill from there. But it's all good. Fresh, not fresh. Okay, that'll work. What else goes into this? Right. So it's only 3 ingredients. Is that right? 4 ingredients. So dry curacao. So we're going to go with Pierre Fernand dry curacao. This is my dry curacao of choice. It's all good. I'd rather use this than you can use like a triple sec or any Cointreau, but you really don't want it too sweet, and so we're going to go with the dry curacao here, which will help. So we need how much of this? Half ounce, just a half ounce. Half ounce. Yeah, half ounce. And that coconut cream really coats the inside of these guys and makes it kind of hard to see. Okay, half ounce. And half ounce. All right. And then we need some rum to go in here. And this is a simple, straightforward drink. We're not going to get too complicated with the rums. We're only going 1 rum here. We want to make it a fresh, clean rum. We don't want anything too dark, which will mess up the coloration of it. So we are going to go with the Plantation 3-Star. Nice, solid, lightly aged, lightly to unaged rum. Clear, crystal clear, good flavor. It's a blend. So we're going to use that for this, and it's probably 2 ounces, right? Yep, 2 ounces. Woohoo! So, while I'm making this drink, it is a perfect time to note that there are speed pourers on the top of this bottle, and they're new speed pourers. Almost all of the speed pourers that I've been using to this date are this style. So I'm not sure if you can tell that. So they've got a little stem that runs down into the bottle. They're metal. They have a little plastic piece here, but they're open air. So if you're using them in your bar, you either have to seal both the air hole and the pour spout, or you have to pull them out and put the cork back into your bottle. These guys are all plastic, and they have a twist motion which seals the bottle. So it's airtight at this point, or as close to airtight as you can get. It's pretty much close to like a cork as well. All right, somebody tell me, did I put the 2 ounces of rum in the glass on the right? I don't believe I did, so I'm absolutely sure I didn't, so let's do that. So there's 1, and then we're going to go 2. Ta-da. All right, and then I just turn this guy, and it's all sealed, and I can leave this on the bar, and I don't have to swap this out. So that's pretty awesome, actually. So we're trying these out. Got them in the mail because saw them online and went, that seems like it might be cool. So we're going to give that a try. See how that works. Put this back. There we go. All right. That's it, right? Coconut cream, dry curacao, rum, crushed ice. So we need about a cup of crushed ice in each one of these guys. And then we're going to pour these into coupe glasses So I'm going to, there we go. So we got about a cup of crushed ice in each one of these. We need to do a quick blend. No, this is actually a long blend. We want to get this like slushy. So here we go. There's one. Nice and slushy. All right, here we go. Oh, let's put this over here, put this over here. Need to refill this one. It's a little more airy. So that's gonna go there. All right, fresh lime, not fresh lime. Well, this got blended longer, I think. Well,
The lime is flat. That has more of a lime smell.
yeah. Oh. Yeah, that just works better.
So the concentrate smells like lime more,
Mm-hmm.
but the taste isn't quite right.
Yeah.
And
I
the
don't-
fresh lime makes a big difference.
I don't know how to say it other than there's almost an artificial lime flavor to this.
Even though, I mean, it's natural lime.
It's natural
but-
lime from extract, but
Yeah, from
it just
concentrate.
tastes like an artificial
And
lime.
it's Italian, so, you know.
Maybe that's the problem. It's made from Italian limes.
No, lime juice is from Mexico,
Oh, well, okay.
produced in Italy.
So that's the problem. You make the limes in Mexico, and then you fly them to Italy, you squeeze them, shove them in a little bottle, and you send them back to us, and we stick them in our fridge for 6 months.
Yeah.
Yeah, so, all right, so
Worth it to do fresh.
now I will say, aesthetically, for whatever reason, and maybe it's just blending time, I have more even bubbles and smaller on here, so the foam is more aesthetically pleasing on the artificial, but the flavor is so much better on the natural. Can you tell the difference? Absolutely. This is crisp and bright, and that's, I mean, they're in the same ballpark in terms of flavor profile.
Right.
Um,
And if it was my third drink of the evening, I probably couldn't tell.
well, there is that. You gonna steal that one?
So start at the craft bar, the
Yeah.
high-end bar, and then, you know, go to the cheap bars at the
Right.
end of the night.
Right. So start your night at the speakeasy and wind up at the nightclub.
Right.
Okay. There you go.
Oh,
You're gonna take that one?
I'll take-
You'll
I'll
take
take
that
the
one?
hit.
All right. All right. She'll take the hit on this one. Yeah, so that's tasty. It just has a freshness to it that is, I don't know how to describe the freshness difference, but there is a definite flavor profile difference between these two cocktails, and it is noticeable that the fresh lime juice really makes that. And this is the Coconut Grove, which yeah, I'm pretty astoundingly a fan of this. It's simple. This is essentially a daiquiri, right? So you've got lime juice, you've got some sugar in there coming from the coconut cream. There's a little addition of the orange from the dry curacao, and then 2 ounces of rum. That's it. So, you know, it's basically a daiquiri. I'm a fan. Simple drink, refreshing. So these Washington evenings where it's still 80 plus degrees out there and the humidity is skyrocketing, yeah, this would be a great drink for that. And it's not overpoweringly coconut for those folks that don't like the coconut flavor, especially things like, you know, the cream of coconut flavor. This is a way of getting just a hint of that coconut without being overpowering and overwhelmingly coconutty. All right, so there's our first drink of the evening and our first test. Fresh versus not fresh lime juice being used in the Coconut Grove. And that's one more down. We are now firmly ensconced in the majority of drinks for Minimalist Tiki have been done. We've done 17. We have another 13 to go. No, we're not doing them all tonight. All right. So now that I have a cocktail to drink, we can talk about some new things that are going on. So let's go ahead and do the Surfside Sips thing.
Okay.
So there's a couple of new things going on. We mentioned the new speed pourers, right? The little plastic speed pourers. That's kind of cool. That seems to be working. You know, this is the first time I've used that as a speed pourer. It works just fine as a speed pourer, so it's okay. What do you got? Question: do you notice a difference between your current Coco Real and Coco Loco that many tiki drinks call for? So yes. So here is the Coco Lopez, and here is the Coco Real. Tiki fanatics are kind of split, I think, on Coco Lopez or Coco Real. They both do a good cream of coconut. It's just whatever your preference is. I gotta admit, this squeeze bottle is really freaking handy as opposed to a can.
And much easier to reseal.
Much easier to reseal, absolutely. But here's a trick. If you got a squeeze bottle of the Coco Real and you use it all up, you can rinse it out, open up your can of Coco Lopez and put it in there, and there you go. You got the ease of squeeze. I have not done a taste test between the two. Sitting here and making a cocktail with the two to determine which one I like better. Could probably stare at the calories per serving and try and figure something out as to which is sweeter. But I honestly, you know, maybe we'll put that off and do that at some later Quarantiki. We'll do a comparison of the Coco Lopez and the Coco Real. Right. All right, so I was doing New Jigger, right? Okay, so I have like most mixologists, I have like gazillion of different jiggers around, or things I use for jiggers. So here is the OXO interior markinged little measuring cup, measuring cup. Now I hear tell that these markings go away pretty quickly, but mine are holding up pretty well, so I'm not too worried about it. But I've also got these guys, which are so-called Japanese jiggers, the tall, narrow style, and the top portion is a 1 ounce pour, and the bottom portion here is a 2 ounce pour. So I really like this Japanese jigger. The problem with this one is, even though it is marked on the inside, it's only marked in a couple of certain spots. So I really like the being able to do 1.5 ounce, 1 3/4 ounce, and this is only marked at the 1.5 ounce on the two, and it's marked at it is marked at the half and the 3/4 mark up here, which is very nice. But getting this one where I've got interior markings on the 2 ounce side for a 1 ounce, 1.5, 1 3/4, and 2 ounce really is handy, not having to flip this guy back and forth between the various measures. It also goes down to a 1/4 ounce, and there's many times where I've needed a 1/4 ounce of something, and I've had to put in like a 1/2 ounce of something else and then fill it up to the 3/4 ounce mark, which it's not hard. I mean, it's not rocket science. It's basic math. But sometimes when you're slinging drinks back and forth, you don't want to have to think about it that much. So having a 1/4 ounce line in here is really handy. So this is my brand new guy. I can tell that this is different from this one because one's gold, one's silver. Yay. All right. Colored. They're not actually gold and silver. My wife loves me not that much. And I also have the Leopold. So this is a sort of a cup shape jigger. And this guy is Star's favorite. I actually do love the way that this fits in the hand. And this is marked on the inside at 1/4, 1/2, and 3/4. And the 2 ounce is marked at the 1.5 and 2 ounce. Very nice for just pouring really quickly. You just flip the fingers and it right in. So I really like this one, but the new guy is the silver one that has the 1/4 ounce marking, which I really find is handy. So yay, addition. All right. The OXO jigger. I do not know why every time I say OXO, my Alexa system decides that it wants to chime in. This guy is handy. It goes down to a 1/4 ounce and all the way up to 2 ounces. Stop, Alexa. That's what I'm looking at over here. I'm looking at Alexa. That's what it is. Okay. Yeah, so this is great and this is awesome. This works really, really well. It's handy. It's a solid little beastie. I keep one in my travel case because it's just so convenient. It doesn't have maybe the flair of the Leopold or the Japanese, but you're after like accurate measurements. So, you know, whatever works. I like the OXO. I do. That's why it's sitting here on the bar. All right. 2 of them are sitting at the bar. One of them's actually supposed to be upstairs on the upstairs bar. What? Don't you have 2 bars in your house? Oh, come on. And a travel case, right? Because you never know when you need to have a bar while you're traveling. Or you always need to have a bar when you're traveling. All right, so we're going to do another drink before we get too much further down here. We still have more new stuff to talk about, which is going to be awesome. I'm going to ask my darling wife if she can turn down the volume just a hair on the music. This is the house mix for tiki nights, and it has a little Cuban music thrown in, little surfer music, a little of the exotica from the 1950s and 60s, sort of a riff on jazz, and has a little blues elements to it as well, which I quite like. Seems to work out, nice setting the mood. But what are we going to do for our next cocktail? Or actually, more importantly, what is it we are going to be comparing for the next cocktail? And here I'm going to have to rely upon my wife again. Rather than me step away from the camera one more time, I'm going to have her go behind me into the back room and grab the Small Hands Orgeat. So that should be on no, it's on the wooden bookcase, probably top shelf, I think. So what we're going to do, I made a fresh batch of orgeat today. So orgeat, and this is my fresh batch of orgeat. Orgeat is essentially an almond simple syrup. So what you do is you take fresh blanched almonds and you process them with in a food processor, or this is how I make my orgeat. I process them in a food processor with some water, let that sit for a while, and then what you're going to do is you're going to take this mealy stuff, it looks like cream of wheat at that point, and you're going to let that drain, and all the liquids come out. Strain it a few times, put some in some cheesecloth, wring it out real good to get all the liquids out of it. So you're essentially creating a homemade almond milk. And then that you take that almond milk and you add some sugar to it in order to make an almond milk syrup. Now, this does mean that you can take a shortcut and just go straight to almond milk and add sugar to it, and bingo bango, you've got a really quick, dirty orgeat. But I find that almond milks generally in the store don't really have an almond flavor to them. They're designed to taste more like actual milk, and so they don't have that almond flavor to them. Similarly, you could take something like almond milk, add a couple of doses of like Torani artificial almond flavoring or some almond extract to it to amp up the almond flavor, add some sugar to it, and get that consistency right so you've got an almond simple syrup. But so this, you're like, well, you use blanched almonds. Why is that so freaking dark? Because I also toast my almonds after they've been blanched, because I think it just amps up the flavor of the almonds. So this is water, sugar, almonds, and then there's a few drops of some rose water and some orange blossom water in here. This is my homemade orgeat. This is based off the recipe from Smugglers Cove, and that is going to go up against the store-bought Small Hands Foods orgeat, which I picked up some months back from Ace Beverage in the district. Many months back, probably almost a year ago. It hasn't been opened, so it's perfectly stable at this point, but it does have the refrigerate after opening moniker on it. So once this is open, I'm going to have to put it in the fridge and use it. But we're going to put these two bad boys face to face against one another. You'll note, not sure if you can see the coloration. So there's the coloration of the Small Hands, and there's the coloration of mine. Mine is just a little bit darker. And let's see if we open this up. We'll do a sniff test. Well, that's interesting. Okay, so right off the bat, I get a lot more of what I think is like an orange blossomy kind of smell to it. So there's a floral element to this. I'm not sure what that is. It's probably the orange blossom, if they've put some in here. Although, I don't know what the ingredients are on here. Doesn't, I'm sure it says somewhere. Ingredients: water, organic cane sugar, unsweetened almond milk, lemon juice, apricot kernel milk, orange blossom water, and a little bit of brandy. Okay, all right, the apricot, that's what I'm smelling. Okay, so that's unusual. What do I smell when I smell this? Almond? Toasted almond? Almond? Yeah, yeah. And that's what I want mine to do, is smell like almond and taste like almond. There is, right, I should mention, if I haven't, there is some orange blossom water and some rose water in mine, just to cut the overwhelming almond flavor just a tad. So we're going to put these guys up against one another in a cocktail which is unusual from the tiki canon. There are three cocktails in minimalist tiki, in the classics in minimalist tiki, that make use of bourbon as a base. And this is going to be one of them. This is going to be the Eastern Sour. You know, that's actually even better after it sits. The Coconut Grove. Yeah, that's pretty yummy. Okay. All right, so what are we going to do here for the Eastern Sour? So the Eastern Sour has a 1/4 ounce of orgeat, a 1/4 ounce of simple syrup, 3/4 ounce lemon juice, and 2 ounces of bourbon. So if you're following along, this is 2 ounces of spirit, 3/4 of an ounce of a sour, and a 1/2 ounce of sweet. Okay, well, let's give this, let's give our orgeats a chance to shine here. There's only a 1/4 ounce in here. So let's take the simple syrup out of the mix and add enough orgeat to compensate for the simple syrup. So that'll make the orgeat a little more prominent in these cocktails, and that way we should be able to taste the orgeat up front. All right, so I could see some potential raised eyebrows there. Well, how do we know which one really complements the cocktail if you're changing the cocktail on us. All right, so quick show of hands here. Who wants me to do the classic cocktail with a 1/4 ounce of orgeat and a 1/4 ounce of simple syrup? Or who wants me to do the 1/2 ounce orgeat, no simple syrup? Star wants the orgeat, so that's like 3 votes. All right, so this is going to be shaken. So we got 2. Let's see if anybody comes in with a vote before I get too far down. I'm going to have another drink. That's what I'm going to do. Another sip. You know, I don't have a, wait, orgeat. Orgeat. Okay, so how many people we got on this? We've got like 6 or 8 people on. Star gets 3 votes, and Colleen voted for orgeat. That's a quorum. That's over a majority. All right, so we're going to go ahead and do the full 1/2 ounce orgeat instead of a 1/4 ounce orgeat, 1/4 ounce simple syrup. Okay, so I'm going to go ahead and...
Kristen says orgeat.
Orgeat. All right, everybody says orgeat. More orgeat. Yay! Oh, by the way, pronunciation. I've seen it and heard it both ways. The guy on How to Drink pronounced it orgeat, orgeat. I think he pronounced it orgeat, and just swallows the T because it is French in origin. And most of the time when I'm running around in the tiki circles, though, I'm hearing it as orgeat. So whatever. Orgeat, orgeat, whatever. Let's go with, let's do this. All right, so once again, since I've got my little moniker here that says fresh on the left and not fresh or artificial on the right, that's not actually true. It's not artificial, but it's bottled, right? So does store-bought versus homemade make a difference? All right, so we're going to go a 1/2 ounce homemade orgeat. Glop, 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 glop. I make mine thick. Yeah, there you go.
Baby.
Yeah, right. Okay, so there's that. Put this over here. And the small hands. Now, I got to admit, this is, I bought the small hands before I ever started making my own orgeat, and I wanted to have some orgeat on hand. I have never opened this bottle. I've never had it before, knowingly. There may be circumstances where I've been served a drink with it, but I don't know. I don't know what it's going to taste like. I will say,
there's at least one bar we go to that is
offhand, that yeah, that's thin, baby. That is not thick and gloppy, but you know, it's all right. It's probably more shelf stable than mine. And this is, by the way, is not 2 to 1. This is about 1.5 to 1 in terms of sugar. So definitely not stable. All right, so there's our orgeat in there. Next up, what do we got? We have lemon juice, not lime juice, but lemon juice. Where's, nope, that's orange. Lemon. Lemon juice? Lemon juice. 3/4 of an ounce lemon juice. Star reminds me that today she was busy doing other things, mostly for me, and so I had to do my own squeezing today. I know, what a horrible fate that is. Double check, right? Hello? Yeah, you're 1 3/4. Or 3/4. It would be bad form to miss the proportions of 1. Yeah. So, all right. So there's lemon juice. Classically, bourbon, whiskeys, etc., go with lemon, whereas your rums are paired with lime. So that's why, partially why we're going with the lemon juice here. All right. Right. No simple syrup. 2 ounces of bourbon. Looks like a sour to me, right? Here we're going to use Bullet because it was the first bourbon I found in my back room. Yeah, this is clearly a rum bar, guys. All right. Again, speed pour on the top, and it just turns around like that. And we're going to go here.
So you're going to need a drawer
Now, I would say that while this seems to be working just fine as a way of sealing, if you're going to be not going back into this bottle for a while, you probably want to take this out and go ahead and put a real cork back in it. So keep your corks, don't throw them away. That's what I'm saying here.
But for things you use at least once a week.
Yep. All right. There you go. All right, so there's 2 ounces of bourbon. So once again, if you're following along at home, 2 ounces of spirit, 3/4 ounce of sour, 1/2 ounce of sweet. Sounds familiar to me. Now, for those of you that are thinking, wait, but daiquiris are slightly different. No, daiquiris are pretty much the same. Daiquiris are 2 ounces of your spirit and 3/4 ounce of sour, and then the sweet is the proportion that you like. In some cases, 1/2 ounce if you really want a tart daiquiri, or in my case, I like a little sweeter, so I like 3/4 ounce of sweet. So I go 2, 3/4, 3/4. But the Eastern Sour and the Coconut Grove are both basic sours with the 2 ounces, 3/4, and 3/4 as a base. All right, so there you go. That's all that goes in this, aside from some cubed ice. But I was neglectful today, and I don't actually have any cubed ice available to me, so I'm just going to go ahead and use some crushed ice, because I can. It's not a problem. So I'm going to go a full scoop. Full scoop. All right. Need to lid these guys up. Lock that. Lock that. Oh, seal broke. There we go. All right, now the instructions for this drink are to strain into a double rocks glass and then finish up with crushed ice. So we're going to go double rocks glasses. Now we're getting plenty of dilution because I used the crushed ice to shake with. So I'm actually going to pour the dirty ice in here. Dirty ice, the ice that you use for the shaking. And then if we need be, we can top that off with more crushed ice. And it looks like we're going to need to do that. All right, doop, doop. Need a little more crushed ice than the one on the left. Don't want the dilution to be different on these guys because we are attempting to do a taste testing. There we go. The garnish, the classic garnish for these, for the Eastern Star, is to take the rind of the lemons that you have used and just stick that guy right in there. Whoop, the spent half goes in there, and an orange half as well. So that goes in there. That goes in there. That, both of these at the wash line. We're going to stick some straws in here and then see if we can tell the difference between these two cocktails. So I'm going to reach over here, grab a couple of these nice straight up glass straws. One in there, one in there. And here's a bourbon based tiki cocktail. Here is the homemade orgeat.
That's bourbon. That's what I taste, is bourbon. And that's mixed cocktail.
Right. I gotta say, here again, I think my feelings are the same with my wife. I get a heavy hit. This is a bourbon sour to me.
I think if you're going to use this, you might want to use more orgeat
possibly
than
right.
the homemade. I think it's not as potent. But yeah, this tastes like bourbon.
This has almost a praline kind of flavor to it. The almond comes through with the bourbon.
Yes.
And that makes this drink a lot better in my mind. So this is a bourbon sour. This is an Eastern sour. There you go. I think that's the way to do this.
I do this every time I drink Bullet. Is to Karsten. We miss him.
Karsten?
Kate O'Neill's first husband.
Yep.
He was
a Bullet fan.
Yep. So whenever I have Bullet, I think of him. I usually do it silently to myself. But
there we go.
Thought I'd give him a shout out.
So I'm not sure if you can tell. So the coloration on the two cocktails as well. Yeah. So this guy here is a little thicker, a little more opaque.
I don't know if it really shows.
Yeah, and it's definite here at the bar that there is a difference, and there's a difference in thickness and mouthfeel as well. So, I'm not dissing small hands. I think, if you don't want to make orgeat at home, here's some small hands that is going to do you good. But it isn't a substitute for homemade if you're willing to put the time and the effort into making some homemade orgeat. Or if you live locally and I'm making orgeat, you can always go, hey, can I have a couple ounces of orgeat? Because a couple ounces of orgeat will last most people quite a while.
Because this is the quantity he makes it in.
Well, yeah. Why wouldn't you? So
750 mil.
The batch that I made today didn't all fit in this bottle.
That's right. So we had ice cream with orgeat.
Yeah, poor us. We had to have ice cream with chocolate sauce and orgeat on it. Awful, right? Also makes a great flavoring for your coffee. If you like toasted almonds in your coffee, this is
what a little extra of the small hands.
And again, I am constantly struck by this, that in mixology, it is often a race. You make the cocktail, it goes to the server, and you're trying to get that drink to the patron as fast as possible, because it'll never be as fresh as that moment that you make it. But I am finding more and more with the tiki drinks that waiting a minute or two into the cocktail, actually the flavors round out and blend together a little better. And so these last few sips of the Eastern Star have actually been significantly better than the first one, I think. So you say
I added probably another
quarter ounce?
Maybe not quite a quarter ounce.
Okay. But not another half ounce?
No.
Okay.
Probably a quarter ounce.
I taste the other notes of the small hands are coming through.
Right.
I get a little more of the apricot, a little of the orange blossom.
But it's not just bourbon.
Right.
So
yeah, maybe using a little more of that.
Yeah.
The apricot is an interesting flavor for that. I have to remember that for any drinks that have apricot in them and orgeat, I might reach for the small hands because it's going to play up the apricot a little bit.
Right. So rough guess is maybe use 1.5 times what's called for if you're going to use bottled small hands versus homemade.
So one of the differences between my orgeat and the orgeat recipe from Smugglers Cove is Smugglers Cove, once you have the almond milk, they do essentially a 2-to-1 mix of sugar to the almond milk. So if you have 2 cups of almond milk that result from your almond cream of wheat mix, then you would add was 2 cups would be 4 cups of sugar. I find that's a little too sweet for me, and so I do essentially a 1.5. So this was roughly 2 cups of almond milk, and I went with 3 cups of sugar, and I just went with plain old ordinary white sugar for this. And I find that hits the sweet spot for this and gives me the thickness and the mouthfeel that I want. I think the Smugglers Cove recipe for my taste is just a little too thick and a little too sweet, so I like to cut back on the sugar just a tad. So there we go. There we are. It's an Eastern Sour, Coconut Grove. That's 2 down. We have a third one we're planning on doing. Yeah. You're back?
My
wife is
one
back.
of the things that you end up with orgeat is almond
meal.
Yeah. And I had an overgrown basil plant, so I used the almond meal instead of pine nuts.
And now we have pesto. Right.
So.
And you're never going to extract all of the almond flavor out of the food processed almonds, and so just taking a little pinch, and yep, there's some almond flavor there. And pine nuts aren't particularly flavorful to begin with, so yeah, it was a nice substitution.
And it was already ground and mushed and toasted and everything.
Yeah,
so.
The pesto came out actually pretty nice.
Yeah.
Yep. So we look forward to like a pesto pizza in the near future, or something else along those lines. Star does a mean chicken breast with basil and pesto and that sort of thing, and Parmesan cheese and all sorts of yummy stuff. So maybe that'll happen in the near future. All right.
Did you share your recipe on your page for the pesto or for the orgeat?
Probably for the orgeat would be my guess. Maybe, but so here's my qualm about sharing the recipe for orgeat is that my recipe is heavily cribbed from Smugglers Cove and pieces of it from Liquid Intelligence by Dave Arnold. So what I don't want to do is just put their recipe or put out Martin Cate's recipe for orgeat, because it's his intellectual property for that. I will say that there's like a gazillion recipes out there for orgeat, and I've probably given you enough clues for the for what my orgeat recipe is. But Brooke, you're local. We can talk. Yeah. I can like flash the recipe to you, and there we go. We're done. But you really, if you're going to do orgeat and you want to do tiki drinks, buy Martin Cate's book, because the Cates are awesome people. I've met them, only once, but they were pretty awesome. And the bartenders, Melissa and Dane over at Smugglers Cove, are awesome people. And when I walked in, a total geek with my copy of Smugglers Cove and went, Dane, would you sign my copy of Smugglers Cove? He immediately flipped to the page that has a picture of Dane on it and signed it and said, best page in this book. And then when I was back at Smugglers Cove, I brought my Smugglers Cove book with me, and I was down at the downstairs bar. Melissa was bartending, and Melissa flipped to the page that has a picture of her on it, best page ever in the book, and signed it there. So lovely people. And lovely.
I'm going to put a link. If you order it from Smugglers Cove, Martin signs it.
Oh, so that's pretty awesome. I didn't know that.
During COVID.
So during the COVID crisis, apparently if you order the Smugglers Cove book from the Smugglers Cove website,
which I have linked,
which Star is linked because that's what my technical staff does, then Martin will sign the book for you, which is pretty awesome. My copy also has his wife's signature and a shout out to their dog, but that's because they were at the Smithsonian like a year or so ago, and that was pretty awesome. It's where we got sippy cups. Yeah, we got plantation rum sippy cups, which I'd love to show you, but I can't because I can't get into that portion of the bar at the moment. So, okay, so Coconut Grove, does fresh lime juice make a difference? It absolutely makes a difference. We both liked the Coconut Grove made with the fresh lime juice, although I gotta say, I do think aesthetically the lime juice from concentrate did a prettier foam.
Better and has a prettier foam.
Star thinks it smells better. I just think it smells more limey. I like the balanced aroma off of the fresh lime juice a little better, because with with the concentrate, you'd stick it under your nose and you'd smell lime, and you didn't get any of the coconut. And, oh, she reads my mind. This is another reason why I love my wife, because if I just put glassware up here, she will go ahead and rinse it for me.
I was checking to see if there was extra.
All right, so the last drink that we're going to do is, like I said, I wanted to show off grenadines and see whether a store-bought grenadine vice a home batch grenadine makes a difference. So I had to go through the Minimalist Tiki list of classic cocktails and find one that had grenadine in it, and there's a handful. There's like 6 of them, but we've done almost all of them. We've done all of them except one, which meant I'm stuck doing the Rum Barrel. So here's the problem. The Rum Barrel has a grand total of 6 drops of grenadine in it. It has 6 drops of absinthe in it as well, which means I think the grenadine is adding color pretty much to that cocktail and a little extra sweetness. You could use whatever red-colored syrup you wanted and probably get largely the same effect. So we're going to amp up the grenadine a little bit in the Rum Barrel. The Rum Barrel is also one of those classic recipes where we have an idea of what the original 1953 sort of Rum Barrel was, but it's almost every tiki bar, restaurant, whatever, has their own variation of the Rum Barrel. And in fact, if you go to Martin Cate's Smugglers Cove and you look up Rum Barrel, I believe it's the Rum Barrel recipe, you'll find that portions of that recipe are blacked out, that they doesn't tell you exactly what's in it because it's proprietary to Smugglers Cove, and that's just kind of awesome and nifty, and it just is a throwback to the days when the tiki restaurants and bars would not tell you what was in their in their cocktails. Oh yes, so we have had a Rum Barrel at Smugglers Cove, as is evidenced by the fact that we own the Rum Barrel mug from Smugglers Cove. Yeah, that's from the first time we went to Smugglers Cove. There was no way we were getting home without a Rum Barrel. And the second one that Star is showing off is from Horror and Clay, and this is their Cask of Amontillado Horror and Clay mug. So it's an ode to Poe, and it's also a nice hefty mug and very cool. So all right, so what are we going to do? So the Rum Barrel is one of these that has multiple rums, multiple ingredients. It's a very complicated drink. And so on one hand, while I'm going to play up the grenadine in the drink, I think part of the test here is whether or not there is a difference enough in the grenadine to where you can tell in a cocktail that has like 8, 10, 11 different ingredients in it. And when you're doing some of these really complicated tiki drinks, sometimes the minor ingredients you can get away with hiding a lesser quality ingredient in there. Sometimes you can't. Sometimes the quality of that ingredient, because you're using it in such a small amount, really, really matters. Here's where I think, in my mind, absinthe is one of those additives that is used in very small amounts in a large number of tiki drinks, and I absolutely think the quality of your absinthe matters. And for that reason in particular, oh my gosh, I put the bottle away. I am going to be using this absinthe, which has no label on it, but this is Mount Defiance absinthe, and this is brilliant stuff. This is old. No, it's down here. This is old school absinthe at its finest. It is good stuff. And when you're only putting like 6 drops in, you really want it to stand out. So in this case, we're going to go with that absinthe. All right, so what are we going to do for the grenadines? All right, so if you're...
It's batch number 40.
Batch number 40, right? Yeah. So this is one of the difficulties with craft producers of things like absinthe or even craft producers of rum, like Cotton and Reed or Lion Distilling, is that they tweak their recipes from batch to batch. So the Navy strength rum from Cotton and Reed that I love so much because it makes a brilliant Ray and Ting, except that it's Cotton and Reed and Ting instead of Ray and Ting. But so it's a CNT or CRNT or crit, whatever. Crit, yeah, like a critical. They changed the recipe on the Navy strength, and I don't have a bottle of the new Navy strength Cotton and Reed, so I don't know whether or not the new batch works quite as well with a grapefruit soda as the old batch did. But I took one taste of the Navy strength rum at Cotton and Reed, and I went, this would make a great Ray and Ting, and brought it home and brought it home and made a Ray and Ting, which, okay, so you're like, what's a Ray and Ting? Tell me what's a Ray and Ting. Ray and Ting is really easy. Ray and Ting is Ray and Nephew Jamaican overproof white rum, unaged, and Ting grapefruit soda from Jamaica. That's all it is. It's like a rum and coke, except it's grapefruit soda. And so what I do is I make it using Cotton and Reed Navy strength rum, which is, I think it's approximately the same percentage alcohol. And here is what a bottle of Ting looks like.
And if you're local, the new giant at Beauregard and Duke carries Ting. As does,
The International Grand Market doesn't, unfortunately.
no, not Harris Teeter, but the spiffy one, Wegmans.
Ah,
Wegmans carries.
the spiffy one, Wegmans, yeah. All right, so the Rum Barrel is a complicated little SOB. Has a lot of ingredients in it, so we should get started on that. No, we shouldn't. No, we're not going to start on that because I have something else to show you. Because, come here. This person here, this is my wife, and she loves me, and she knows I'm a cocktail nut. So for my birthday, she said, "Wait, you make your own simple syrups and stuff.
You make your own orgeat. What's the next step?
Maybe you'd be interested in making, I don't know,
Bitters?
home bitters." Yeah, so she got me a home bitters making kit from, was it High Desert?
High Desert Botanicals.
Desert Botanicals, right? High
Desert Botanicals.
And so the kit comes in this spiffy little wood and leather case. Yeah, isn't this pretty awesome? It comes with packets of like 34 different ingredients, some of which are, just spices like black pepper and allspice and that sort of thing. But there are some others that are like, I don't know where you get burdock root from, or wormwood and that sort of thing. I don't know where you get that stuff from, but evidently I get them from High Desert Botanicals. See, this guy opens up, and included in that is a bunch of these apothecary bottles. So it comes with 4 of these apothecary bottles, which are glass bottles with the glass stopper. Yep, awesome. Which can actually sit up straight. I only have 2 in here. There's a reason for that. And then it comes with like a bunch of these little amber glasses, glass bottles with droppers on them, so that once you've made your bitters in your apothecary bottles, you can sample them out to these little guys.
And it comes with the funnel.
And it comes with a funnel and filters and all sorts of things. And I've added a little moleskin booklet to it so that I can keep track of what I'm doing and what I'm making. So this is the little kit. I love this little kit. She's so awesome. And of course, as long as I'm making... There's a book coming. And this also allows me to make use of another book that I have in my collection, which is Drunken Botanist, that has all sorts of good things about different ingredients to make bitters with. But obviously, as long as I'm making ingredients this weekend, I might as well start on my bitters making. So there was a stumbling point in making bitters, and that's that you need a neutral grain spirit, and you needed a pretty hefty one. So we needed 100 proof neutral grain spirit. I know, it was a hardship for me. We broke down and bought some vodka. I know, it's the tofu of spirits, but we bought it anyway because we're going to make
100 proof vodka.
Yeah, we did find that there was only one at our local ABC. So we have Smirnoff 100 proof vodka, which is about as neutral as you can get. It was actually less expensive than the 100 proof neutral grain Everclear, so we went with the Smirnoff because what I'm doing is putting flavor into it and creating bitters. So looking through various recipes, and we're like, oh, that looks cool, that looks cool. Wait a second, we went to the supermarket and there's some fresh blackberries at the supermarket, so I'm going to make me some fresh blackberry bitters. And what I did is I looked up one of the recipes that they had from High Desert for a fruit bitters, and that happened to be rhubarb bitters. And that comes in 2 different containers. So you're going to make a bitters with the fruit components in one jar and with the spice components in another jar. This was going to take like 3 weeks to make these guys. And you're going to essentially combine these 2 in various proportions to get this blackberry fruit bitters where you want it in the flavor profile. So I have now embarked upon the next step of the cocktail journey, which is making my own bitters and shaking and agitating these guys once a day to make some blackberry bitters. And I have high hopes that that'll be tasty. Blackberry bitters with a little bourbon or maybe some rye and do a nice smash or a julep with some of that in there. Sounds mighty fine for a summer drink to me. I know it's not tiki. I drink other things besides tiki drinks. There's a whole vat of, no, okay, not a vat, but there's a lot of bottles of gin back there. I drink things other than tiki drinks. But that's neither here nor there, because the next drink up is going to be a Rum Barrel, and that is just solidly tiki. I'm going to polish off the Kirk and Sweeney first of all.
You still have to.
Pardon?
You still have to.
Oh, the wife points out I still have 2 drinks. I do. Do you want the Coconut Grove? Wife will take the Coconut Grove. I'm speaking, so I don't have all this time to drink. She's just sitting back here drinking.
Yeah, and making links.
And making links. She's also spent a large portion of the day online tracking down Magic cards for me. I mean, Magic the Gathering cards. What is not to like about this wife? I mean, she's just freaking awesome. I fully support this whole being partially retired because it means she has more time to spoil me. What's not to like? All right, so pull up the list here. The Rum Barrel. So we got an ounce of honey mix, an ounce of lime, an ounce of orange, an ounce of grapefruit, an ounce of pineapple juice, a teaspoon of allspice ram, a teaspoon of falernum, an ounce of lightly aged filtered rum, an ounce of aged Jamaican rum, 2 ounces of Demerara rum, 6 drops of absinthe, 6 drops of grenadine, a dash of Angostura, crushed ice blend. That's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13 ingredients, not including the ice. 13 is Star's lucky number and favorite number. So Rum Barrel, awesome. Wow, this is kind of weird. We get the glow from my iPad. We're not going to do that. That goes over there. Okay. So I need this and this because we're going to blend these guys, right? All right, so I did say I was going to amp up the grenadine because I really want to play off the grenadines. Somewhere around here, right? If you've been a follower of I don't know what this is, my live broadcasts. Vlog. Sounds like a Klingon. Vlog of House something or other. I don't know.
Of House Lovecraft.
Of House Lovecraft, yeah. So you know that I haven't made my own grenadine, but I have a mix that I use for my grenadine. And that is what is in this bottle right here. This is the House Grenadine. And it starts with a base of a bottle grenadine. It starts with a base of the bottle Jack Rudy Cocktail Company small batch grenadine. There you go. I've always stumbled over the name. Now you're actually seeing the bottle. Jack Rudy Cocktail Company, batch number 25, small batch grenadine, handcrafted in the South. All right. I don't know if you can see this. This is some dark stuff. This is it's reddish, but man, is it dark. And this is a good, just solid quality small batch grenadine. I like it. I like it just fine, but I like to have my grenadine with a little more just zhuzh. Zhuzh. How's that for a word? Zhuzh. So
It's actually a word.
well, zhuzh is actually a word. So I do a 2-2-1 mix for my grenadine, and that's what is in this bottle. And hopefully you can tell this is a slightly lighter color and slightly more reddish. If I pull this, you can see that. Yeah, definitely more reddish grenadine. Grenadine is a pomegranate syrup. It is made with pomegranate juice, so you get the tartness of the pomegranate in there, but it is complemented by the sweetness of the sugars that you're adding in. Okay, fine. I like to add a little more tartness to mine and a little flowery element. And so that is hibiscus syrup. So this is a 2-to-1 simple syrup where I have infused this with like a handful of dried hibiscus flowers. And it comes out this gorgeous, gorgeous red color. I love the color on this thing. It is just, it is so nice. I'm still struck by the like, Kamehameha. Yeah, it's just, okay, anyway. So what I do is I do 2 parts of the Jack Rudy. I do 2 parts of my hibiscus syrup. And then I do 1 part of the pomegranate liqueur, which adds it amps up the alcohol content, makes this a little more stable, and gives it a little more pomegranate flavor than if I just did a 1-to-1 Jack Rudy and the hibiscus syrup. By the way, if you can't find hibiscus syrup anywhere or hibiscus leaves anywhere, Todd Thrasher, who owns Tiki TNT in the district, makes their own version, which is Thrasher's hibiscus syrup. I bought a bottle of theirs. Actually, I bought a couple of bottles of theirs and have used it over time. And now I store my own hibiscus syrup in there because, well, it says hibiscus syrup on there. So it's easy for me to remember that this is hibiscus syrup. Okay, so our taste test is Jack Rudy straight against Pooch's homebrew Pama hibiscus syrup and Jack Rudy. And we'll see which one we like. So the Rum Barrel. The Rum Barrel has an ounce of honey mix as the syrup and only has 6 drops of grenadine. So here's what we're going to do. We are going to get rid of the honey syrup entirely, and we are going to go with the grenadine. Both of these grenadines are kind of sweet, so I think that'll work. The Rum Barrels are proprietary recipes to the restaurants anyway, so there isn't a singular Rum Barrel recipe, so deal with it. This is what I want to do. We're going to do it this way, and this will play up the grenadine elements. All right, so let's start with 1 ounce plus 6 drops of grenadine. So here is 1 ounce of the Jack Rudy grenadine. It's very dark. It's almost a purple color. And it's pretty thin. It's pretty watery. My hibiscus syrup adds a certain thickness and mouthfeel to this. So we're going to go full ounce. Oh, I didn't add the 6 drops. Oh, no. So there's a full ounce of mine. And I think you can tell it's just a little bit thicker in consistency. All right, so 6 drops. I need a dropper right here. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Boop. For those of you with a chemistry background, yes, I'm contaminating my sample. Sue me. Yeah, I took quantitative chemistry. I can do it as well as anybody else. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. This isn't chemistry. This is mixology. They're different things. By the way, I loved quantitative chemistry. It was so much fun. Everybody else in the class seemed to hate it. All right, so there we got 1 ounce plus 6 drops of the 2 grenadines. That's going to be your base. Now we need an ounce of lime. Lime. Oh, hey, should we use the lime concentrate? No.
No.
All right, so we're going to do, what did I say, full ounce? Full ounce, yep. Dear wife, would you grab me a can of pineapple juice from the back room? We did not buy a pineapple this week, so we do not have fresh pineapple juice. This is the one exception to the fresh juices, because pineapple juice is such a pain that I just say, screw it. Unless you are buying a pineapple for some other reason, don't bother using the fresh. Just use a can of like Carnation or Dole pineapple juice. As long as it's unsweetened, you'll be fine. So she's going to go get the pineapple juice. We've got the lime juice in here. We need orange juice next, and I know the orange juice is here somewhere. Orange juice. Fresh squeezed orange juice, or yeah, fresh juiced orange juice. 1 ounce. Find it?
Yeah.
There's
Being the shopper,
1 ounce
I
orange
love-
juice. 1 ounce
I
orange.
love that the Dole pineapple comes in
Single serving
4
cans.
to 6 packs of these little mini cans, because that's usually all we use.
Grapefruit juice. You've heard this spread before. It makes a difference what kind of grapefruit you use, and it's harder and harder to find white grapefruit. So I tend to buy white grapefruit juice whenever I can find it, or white grapefruits. In this case, we're working with white grapefruit juice from a jar. Deal. This is a brand new fresh jar, so this is as fresh as I can get in terms of white grapefruit juice without finding white grapefruits. It makes a difference. It absolutely does. Pink grapefruit are much sweeter than the white grapefruit and do not contribute the same amount of sourness. I love grapefruit juice. It's not great for me, but I love it anyway. All right, so we've got lime juice, orange juice, grapefruit juice. We need the pineapple juice. 1 ounce of each of these. I mean, this is what people think of when they think tiki drinks. They think like every possible juice under the sun goes in, and then every possible rum, and then a few other flavors thrown in together, and you get a tiki drink. Yeah, but we've already demonstrated that that's not all tiki drinks. The Eastern Star and the Coconut Grove are basically sours, and they're very simple drinks. And so tiki encompasses that whole range from very simple to, oh my god, complex. 13 ingredients here. Next up, okay, so we got the lime, we got the orange, we got the grapefruit, we got the pineapple juice, we got the honey mix that we're replacing with the grenadine, we got the 6 drops of grenadine. We're okay. We need a teaspoon of allspice dram and a teaspoon of falernum. So somewhere in here, what do you know? Teaspoon. First chance. All right. So we are going to make sure we use the exact same falernums and allspice drams, because otherwise this wouldn't be a fair competition, right? So, what do I want to do?
St. Elizabeth. Oh.
Oh, I'm going to use Bitter Truth. We're going to use the Bitter Truth falernum here. Brooke, thank you very much. Brooke is a compatriot in the mixology field, and we often trade liqueurs, various ingredients back and forth. That should be roughly the same amount of falernum in there. This is, she bought a great big bottle of falernum from Bitter Truth and graciously supplied me with some of that in exchange for some other stuff from me. And so we're going to be using some Bitter Truth falernum. And then we are going to do some allspice dram. Now, I have 2 allspice drams here. I have the St. Elizabeth's, and I have Cotton and Reed. Star said, use St. Elizabeth's. And I'm going to agree with her, because the Cotton and Reed, I love Cotton and Reed's.
Very, very good.
Is very, very good, but it also can overtake a cocktail pretty easily. So we're going to put the Cotton and Reed over to the side. I think the St. Elizabeth's is just a little milder in its flavoring, And so, this is all about testing the grenadine, right? Okay, it's also about having a rum barrel, because we want a rum barrel. Also, 1 teaspoon. Now, you're saying 1 teaspoon, what can that possibly do for a drink? Allspice dram is pretty spicy, flavorful, Christmas spices, and yeah, this is one of those other things where you have to be really careful how much allspice dram you use, otherwise you will completely overpower your cocktail. So we're going to go with the slightly milder St. Elizabeth's allspice dram, 1 teaspoon. We need an ounce of lightly aged or filtered rum, lightly aged and filtered rum. We're going to reach for the Plantation 3-Star again, solid rum, 1 ounce. This has rapidly become my white rum of choice when I don't want to use my Havana Club. Who knows when I will have a chance to get Havana Club. This is the Cuban Havana Club again, and so I'm sort of marshaling the amount of the Cuban Havana Club that I get my hands on. All right, so
Canada. Oh wait, we
so-
can't go in.
So 1 ounce of the Plantation 3-Star. Next, we need a 1 ounce of a Jamaican aged rum. Anyone want to guess? What Jamaican rum I'm reaching for? Oh yeah, it's Appleton 12 year. Cause yeah, we do have a new bottle. By the way, right. So for those of you that are used to seeing the Appleton 12 year look like this, Star is going to show you what the new bottle looks like. Right, so here's the comparison. They went the short and squat. They still have this kind of curve shape to it, but the taller bottle is the new 12 year expression. So if you're not seeing the short squat one, it's because they got a new expression out there. All right, 1 ounce Jamaican, right? Yep, 1 ounce Jamaican.
It's weird when I sit down and then see myself.
So there's 1 ounce. And 1 ounce. Now you could go, depending on your bar. So frankly, if you're not a tiki file, the 12 year Appleton is probably as funky as you're going to get in terms of your Jamaican rums. You could go Clarendon, Worthy Park, or Hamden, really high ester Jamaican rums, and they will make this drink completely a different drink. But you're also dropping $80 to $100 on a good bottle of one of those. And while they're absolutely completely worth it from my perspective, they may not be worth it from your perspective if you're not collecting rums. So we're going to go with the Appleton 12. Solid choice. It's got a significant amount of that Jamaican funk without being completely and totally overpowering. This is a significant drink. It's got 4 ounces of rum in it, which means we need another 2 ounces, and that 2 ounces is going to be a Demerara rum. Demerara rums are rums from Guyana, and almost always you're thinking El Dorado in this case. El Dorado line is all out of Guyana. But my El Dorados are all over. No, I have an El Dorado 8 right here. Okay, that'll work. I was going to go with the Pussers, which is a Navy-style rum, which is also primarily Demerara. But as long as I got the El Dorado 8 here, I might as well go ahead and use it. So we got 2 ounces of the El Dorado 8. I should know that I keep a bottle of El Dorado 8 on my bar. So I know we've done the shout out previously, at least I think we have, but to my left there is a bar shelf made out of wood that I keep the rums on that I tend to use frequently or I need to use in this particular episode on that shelf. And I really like it. I got it from Etsy. It's got a nice little lip on it so they don't just slide off. It holds 12, basically 12 bottles on it. And I've got, and the first shelf is, 3 or 4 inches off the ground. So I've got a line of rums here along the bottom. So I've got 12 to 16 rums right here that are the rums that I use frequently.
Don't know how to use wood making tools.
Yeah, we don't use wood making tools. We don't do carpentry. We drink. Drinking and carpentry and woodworking tools, they don't mix. So don't do that. Have somebody else that doesn't drink do it, or that someone that knows how to keep the two separate do that. All right. Eastern Sour, once again, even watered down. That's a tasty drink. Wow. Love that. Okay. What do we got? Allspice, falernum, rum. And here we go. 6 drops absinthe. I love having the bar mats because I can just squirt out stuff on the table here and it doesn't matter. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 6 drops of absinthe. Man, this stuff is... Right now, the entire bar smells of absinthe at this point. And it's, what, 12 drops and an open bottle. Absinthe is powerful stuff. Be careful adding it to your tiki drinks lest it take over. 1 dash of Angostura bitters. Here's my Ango bitters right here. We're just going to go 1 dash and 1 dash. Angostura bitters. You know your cocktails are complex when you're adding drops and dashes of things in specific amounts in order to get the flavors right. Okay, that's it. That's our 12 in this case ingredients because we dropped the honey mix out and replaced it with grenadine.
But
so
adding ice would be 13.
Sure, Star says adding ice would be 13, which means the original drink would have 14 ingredients in it, but we're not going to talk about that. Here, let me erase that from my mind. 13 ingredients, yeah. It's the Eastern Star, see? Star, reference to my wife, Eastern Star. She now lives on the East Coast, so it's the Eastern Star,
Yeah.
right? And it's a bourbon drink, and she doesn't hate it. I mean, how cool is that? Okay, 8-ounce crushed ice, blend for 5 seconds. All right. Wow. I think I might actually have just enough crushed ice to do this. So 8 ounces is basically a full scoop here. Get the same amount of ice. Both of these guys. Put that in there. 5 seconds. 1001, 1002, 1003, 1004, 1005. Did you catch that? I just about spilled this drink all over the place, but I didn't. 1001, 1002, 1003, 1004, 1005. I got a cuss word out of my wife. Did we drop the connection or something?
No.
Nope, we're good? All right.
I was talking about possibly
Possibly spilling the drink. Yeah, that would be bad. Okay, so there we go. 5 seconds blended. Rum barrels. Here we go. We're going to go Cask of Amontillado, and we're going to go another Horror Enclave mug, the Netherworld Haunted House mug, where monsters dwell. I'm just going to dump straight in, right? Yes, double check. 8-ounce crushed ice, blend for 5 seconds, dump in. Yep, okay, here we go. So this is going to go right there, and then you would fill that up with crushed ice. Okay, so we're not going to add any more ice to this because I don't have a full amount of this in here because of the different volumes and glasses, and I don't want to I don't want to change the dilution level. I want these two to be exactly the same so we can tell whether or not the grenadine makes a difference. So we mentioned earlier in the broadcast that Surfside Sips makes brilliant straws, and that we have a promo code for Surfside Sips. I'm so happy about this. This is the first time I've ever had a promo code for anything. So all caps, Lovecraft, Lovecraft at Surfside Sips will get you 20, that's 20%. I don't know what works 20. I don't know which one is right. 20% off on anything you buy from Surfside Sips. You're like, Pooch, what do I really need straws from Surfside Sips? Well, I don't know about you, but Star needed a glass bamboo tiki straw in a pink color. So, yes, yes. So that goes in this one right here. Just swirl that around just a tad. And Lovecraft cocktails, tentacles, straw thulu, green straw. Tentacles. Look at this. Look at it. It's got the little curves and it's got suckers on it. Yeah. So yeah, I'm a sucker for Surfside Sips. Buy their stuff. You get 20% off if you use our promo code. That's going to go in here. I know it's way too big for this glass, but so what? Because their straws are pretty awesome. Okay. So now we have 2 rum barrels made exactly the same, except the grenadines are different. And they're not that different because the base of my grenadine is Jack Rudy's grenadine. So we'll see. I don't know. We'll see.
Oh, that's a fine drink. Oh, I love the straw. This is awesome. That's a fine drink too, and I cannot tell. Now, it could be this is the 3rd drink plus a toast, but
Okay. I think there's a distinct difference between the two. I think the flowery note of the hibiscus absolutely comes through in this one. Nope.
I can't tell.
Well, in that case, you can have this one. Because I like the flowery component of the hibiscus syrup.
I get the cool straw.
Which is why I put it in my grenadine. So there you go. Even amping up the amount of grenadine in the drink. My lovely wife, after having, I don't want to hazard a guess as to how many drinks it is at this point, 3, something like that. Can't tell the difference between the 2 grenadines, but I can. I can detect the flowery notes of the hibiscus in here, and I think it really makes the drink. It actually might be a little overpowering, so I might cut back on the grenadine a little bit and put some honey syrup back in. But yeah, this is lovely. It makes a difference, but both of these are perfectly fine drinks.
I like the drink.
Star likes the drink. Star likes drinks that have got a lot of fruit juice in them, and they're good for you too, because darn it, fruit juice.
Right.
The last thing you need in a COVID environment is to catch scurvy. So darn it, drink your fruit juice. Yeah, and do it with rum, because why do it any other way? All right. So let me see. Surfside Sips, promo code, High Desert Botanicals, Bitters Club, brand new plastic speed pourers. What am I missing, hon? Is there anything else that's
I think that's
new, fresh to us? Oh, I probably should have shoved some mint into one of these drinks.
Oh, yeah.
So, mint, fresh mint. We have a planter box full of mint, and we had 2 planter boxes full of mint, and everybody on the planet says, plant mint, it grows everywhere under almost any conditions. There's no possible way you can kill mint. We did it. We killed an entire planter full of mint. I don't know what happened. We watered it. It's sitting out on the deck. There's an entire planter box of mint right next to it. And that mint is going well and gangbusters, because look, it produced this. The other one's dead. I mean, like dead sticks, dried sticks, dead. So yeah, we can kill mint. We're pretty amazing here. We've killed mint. We've done it. We're gonna replant some other mint in the old planter box and see if we can't get more mint to grow. So there you go. I have no idea how long I've been speaking, but this has been a lot of fun. Fresh ingredients do seem to make a difference, but maybe not by the 3rd drink, as Star points out. But homemade orgeat, I don't know if it's worth your time and trouble, but if you've got someone near you that's making homemade orgeat, go beg some, because it seems to make a difference to me. Homemade grenadine. So here's the thing on the homemade grenadine. You may not need to make homemade grenadine, but I will say that I am starting from a base of a small batch grenadine. Do not use Rose's grenadine if what you're trying to do is get sort of an accurate flavor profile. Rose's grenadine is essentially high fructose corn syrup with some red food coloring in it.
It works fine in a tequila sunset.
Star says it works fine for a tequila sunset. I'm not sure what a tequila sunset is. I know what a tequila sunrise is, but you know, she's had 3 drinks and is now sticking her tongue out at me. Yeah, it does. It's fine. Look, it's high fructose corn syrup. It adds some sweetness to it. If you still want the tartness, the pomegranate flavor, go with a small batch grenadine. It'll be perfectly fine for you. Or you can do what I do, which is a blend. I like the addition of the hibiscus. If you want to take it the next step, buy yourself some pomegranate juice, like fresh, not fresh, but pure pomegranate juice, and make a simple syrup out of it and go with that. That's going to be next up. I like this, but what I might do is try to make my own grenadine at some point in the future, and we'll see how that comes out. So, okie doke. I'm not sure what else there is to do other than to say thank you so much for tuning in. I know last week was a little scattered. Hey, try this rum, have this rum, blah, blah, blah. This hopefully has had a little more structure to it. And wow, there's a mess here that I'm going to have to clean up. But this is Quarantiki from Lovecraft Cocktails, signing off for number 19.
Yeah.
19.
No, 19.
Bye.
Bye.
Bye all.